Oh,
So
wrong.
was it?
I don't know.
No,
You said
yeah, we're on.
wrong. Okay.
Yeah, we're on. I mean, I think it's obvious the title says it all.
Yeah.
Well,
You've had a bit of a difficult time lately, haven't you?
well, it's not just this difficult time; it's every other CGT before it as well. But then again,
Yeah.
this is probably the first one with retail,
Mm.
or at
Yeah.
least the highest one with retail.
Yeah. I
Because
think.
most of the other higher ones are not down to retail at all; they're down to independent places that often have the better stuff.
Okay. So, like, what sort of independent places? Like independent shops, or
You know,
just
like unrecognizable brands, like
yeah,
separate places.
but still retail, but obviously like local businesses that just
I
have
think
that
when
one place.
well, yeah, like local businesses. When I think of retail, I think of overrated brands like
You think
Tesco
like
or
yeah,
Sainsbury's.
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, um,
That have like thousands of shops around the UK and wherever else they have.
yeah, exactly. And I guess the thing with smaller businesses, they tend to have more interesting stuff just because they don't have as much money, maybe, so they're more likely to keep all the systems and devices in
Well,
place.
in some cases, depending on what they have, it's kind of better to do so, really.
Mm, yeah.
Although it's not good when they go for something cheap like Fike or ESP Fireline.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when they do a very poor job at the layout too.
Yeah, I think I've come across some pretty bad systems in my time. Well, like I've told you, there's an antique centre in Lancaster, and their system seems really skeptical. Like all the wiring's clipped in plastic. There's no metal clips.
Well, like those plastic clips with nails in there you get from the
Yeah,
ROI
yeah,
stores.
yeah,
Sure, I think.
yeah. So it's just with them, and it's wiring's not straight at all. I mean, maybe it works. It just looks dubious, and I wouldn't want to comment any further in case it is. For all I know, it could be fine. It just seems a bit suspicious. Even the panel has like cables going to it, but not connected up to anything. Maybe that was part
Then
of the
again, what kind of
previous
system do
system.
they have?
Oh, it's just conventional.
Or how old is it?
I don't know. I would
Well, we both
guess.
know any type of conventional is better than addressable anyway.
Well, that's very much up for opinion, depending on practicality, interest wise.
Interest-wise.
Yes.
Okay, the variety with conventional you get.
Yeah,
That's how it is.
absolutely. Yeah, that's interest wise. But
I mean, you know
practical.
how it is. I mean, it's good that homeowners keep lots of conventional devices and all, but panel-wise, they're just awful.
Well,
I
yeah.
mean, I suppose Sainsbury's do the same thing, but at least they've got more decent panels this time.
Yeah. And I think Sainsbury's is just unique that it has Pava anyway. No other supermarket does that. That's just a bit.
I mean, you could say that Tesco uses the same manufacturer, but all they have is just a generic version of what Sainsbury's have.
Yeah, and they don't have. So
The
they don't
oldest
have.
example I know of is probably Orpington Tesco Extra,
Yeah.
which is a fairly new one.
And Tesco don't use voice alarm.
Exactly.
That's the one.
Wait,
No,
yeah,
Tesco don't. It's only Sainsbury's use it.
Well, sometimes. Mostly they use bells.
Sometimes. A lot of the older systems are bells, and a lot of older systems,
Although I think, as far
use.
as I know, some Sainsbury's are combined with voice evacuation and bells.
Are
I'm
they
not sure.
really?
Well, I think I heard that somewhere.
I think voice alarm has been installed in some older Sainsbury's that used to have bells, and they replaced the bells. Well, they got rid of the
Well, I suppose
bells.
there are some Sainsbury's with old addressable that don't have any bells at all.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's one at Cheshire Oaks. Is voice alarm, but it's an old Sainsbury's store. It looks like an old Sainsbury's store.
Does it have like old conventional or addressable devices?
I honestly cannot remember off the top of my head. I'll have a look at some pictures, see what I can find.
Well, I think when you look on pictures on Google Earth, sometimes it doesn't always help very much.
No,
Can't really
but
prove exactly what it is.
no, but what's the
That's why the following
alternative when you
homeless
can't?
unrejected.
Yeah, when you sat at home at 20 to 9, what's your alternative? Where is it? Chester. There we are.
I also hear something about, well, in the early 2000s, that Focus had actually bought Homebase out. The only reason that makes sense is that the B&M in Stockport looks to me like it salvaged a Focus, but it was actually a Homebase.
Oh, right, okay.
Fire system.
Interesting. Well, we know that we both know that Sainsbury's used to own Homebase, so
yeah. Well, whatever the case is, Homebase was supposed to back up Sainsbury's, but it seems that Sainsbury's has backed up Homebase really, because whatever the case is, Sainsbury's still used to manufacture and Homebase don't. They use a different servicing company since they were bought out.
Yeah. I can't see what the devices are on Google Maps. What I can see, though, is it's obviously voice alarm because there's newer speakers, but they haven't taken down the old speakers.
Wait, there are two types. There's like remains and traces of old.
There's remains of the old tannoy, but no, I can't see any fire alarm stuff. There's still, like I said, still old tannoy speakers which aren't used, and then there's the new voice alarm speakers which are used now. I can't really see anything on here. No.
Sure.
No, sorry, I can't. But
well,
it wouldn't surprise me if the whole fire system was replaced at the same time, considering Clarkson do both the voice alarm
have you looked at the external repeater?
Good shout.
That's the one thing you must always check in every Sainsbury's and or Homebase.
Yes.
Well, I mean, sometimes they may be hidden around the corner or something. Like in the second Sainsbury's of St Albans, it's kind of around a different place where you wouldn't normally see it. I still pictured it anyway and still went around that side because I was aware that it was there.
Okay.
I mean,
is that anything there? That?
Can't quite make it out, to be honest. I'm not sure.
Let's keep looking.
It might be on that side, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe go back on the other side, see if. Well, I mean, another chance it could just be on the inside of that bit there.
Let's use timeline and see if that helps.
A Vega. So just instant recognition. Has it been blanked out though? You know how some Sainsbury's when they had a Vega, they sometimes blank him out and they replace him with advanced. Sometimes the external repeaters are inoperable now. But yeah, you got it right, isn't it? Well, I mean, that indicates that it's all addressable then.
Yeah. Reminds me a bit of the range.
The range?
The range is my local range used to be a Homebase, and the Clarkson
but hang on, I thought you said it had advanced powers, not.
It does. Yes, it does actually. But I just wanted to show you.
I would have.
See that?
Oh, it's been blanked out, so it has got advanced then.
Yes.
Although normally they would replace the external panel as well. Like in most of the home bases I've seen with advanced mouse, they always replace the external one as well.
But like I say, this was when the range took over, so maybe obviously it will have been a different company doing it.
Yeah, I think
like
apparently
it's still
they're all
all the devices are still original. However, some devices have been added by the range.
like addressable sounders maybe, because I think that's the
I
same in
think
St Albans.
one addressable beacon has been added, but the sounders are all symphonies. But there is a random flashlight in there.
Yeah, that does make sense. The range in St Albans, which used to be a home base, which always had addressable like that. I think when it became the range, they added intelligent waterproof points outside. And they, for some reason, added Sonos sounder beacons in what is now the Iceland department in the range, even though the Sydney sounds above it are still there and still being used. I mean, I know they only kept that system because it was all addressable.
Yeah,
Both pedals were enhanced.
Yeah, it's symphonies. The issue with symphonies is they could be either, but the fact that there's that flashny downstairs, if I can find it, and that was there since it was home base. Yeah, really random.
Sometimes you do get like sound beacons in some home bases, even if they have bells. I'm not sure why though, because in Durham home base there was a Gent C3 sounder, misplaced somewhere.
Really?
Even though the rest of it was all bells. And most of the others that have that sort of layout have benchy flash tones normally. I mean, I think the Wayne Orpington was the first example I'd seen with bells and sounders.
Yeah. No one's took a picture of it, unfortunately.
Well, I see you use the same method in order to prove what's actually in there.
Yeah. Morrison's is
Morrison's.
This Morrison's has an external panel.
Yeah, I suppose some of them do.
Where is it? It's in there. It's in there. It's just a synchro though. It's the repeater.
Well, no, that's one in Manchester had a synchro like that. Well, it was running Series 90.
Yeah.
That just easily makes Morrison's a lot better than Tesco.
Like I say, my local Tesco got replaced recently, but it's all still on the same cables. They have replaced all the devices, yet it's still Hachiki, which I find really interesting because Tesco use Apollo now, considering it was loops and every device was being replaced.
Not every modern Tesco uses Apollo. I mean, in terms of replacement, it is very common. But I think Hayville Tesco, which was a fairly new one, probably as new as most other Tesco's that age with Apollo, this one has a complete Hochiki system instead. It's got the Hochiki CHQ, also CHQWS sounders. It's fine.
Yeah, this one has the really old notifier detectors, and it still has it. It still has it, but the name escapes me. You're the expert on remembering this.
What, the old notifier detectors?
Yes. Do they have?
I'd be able to recognise them, but you know what? I'm actually getting bored of finding even those in Morrison's now because they're a lot more common than I expected. Even though some of them have been the target for replacements with Apollo. But I think I've been to probably at least 5 different Morrisons with those detectors, or the optical version.
Yeah.
It is. I'm really off to Morrisons with conventional. I never thought I'd find another Morrisons like Pittswood again, but maybe recently I kind of have.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this particular one that we went to recently is now classed as the best one. Oh, and because of this, I have started to, just barely started to list every Morrison's.
Is there anything visible in that picture? No. Sounder-wise, it's Roshni's. Oh,
What kind? What?
it's the second generation. Not the very original one, the one that came after that.
Delta Roshni's? Yeah.
I don't know what they're called.
RS or WS.
Yeah.
Yeah, pictures of one I'd be able to tell. Although on that note, I did actually find a white, very old Swarovski with the old logo in WH Smith's. One of few companies relating to the retailer actually constantly impressing me.
This one. This Roshni.
Where is what picture?
Oh, it's still on. Oh, I didn't realise it did that. I'm not used to using this with Brave. Hang on a minute.
They're on separate tabs.
Yes, I didn't realise it was tab specific, and I've just picked the wrong one again. I'm not used to using this. Here it is.
Well, you could say it's my first time using it myself, but
there you go, that one.
Yeah, that type of Roshni. That's the class as the old style Roshni.
Yeah, but they're not the very original ones. I have heard.
You've known about that channel anyway.
Blue Cylinder.
Yeah, because I've known about it since at least 2011.
Same. You just search fire alarm and it's the first one to appear.
Sure, okay. Always famous phone videos of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there any other interesting systems that I can think of? Oh, we'll have a look around this antique centre because it has 360.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I think I looked at that myself.
There's the panel.
CTEK?
Yeah.
It's always CTEK, isn't it?
But I don't think that's original. You can't really see it.
Well, it's definitely not original. That thing's brand new, isn't it?
Well, there's a Viper there. A Viper there.
You sure it's not a vintage?
No, it's for the Vipers.
Hang on, just let me take a quick look at them. Yeah, he's a Viper. You're probably right. He's wired in old cable as well.
I think the Viper down here is more obvious.
Hang on, which one is that? Yeah, definitely a Viper. And it's not a Cyrex 4 either, it is a Viper.
I do like this place though. They have some interesting stuff in terms of collectibles. I actually have a bell in my fire alarm collection that I bought from here.
Wait, you can buy different devices from here as well that weren't part of the system?
Yes, but it depends. It's all independent stall holders, so they just sell whatever they have, and it just so happened that some people had bells.
What kind of bell was it?
It's a old Friedland.
Probably a 12-volt one, they do.
No, it's mains powered.
Well, that would have been my second guess. Although I think when it comes, what's that?
It's a Viper.
I just noticed it off its base.
Yeah.
Why have they done that? I thought they were held in with screws. Kind of more convenient, you know.
Mm. There is evidence of the previous system in this place. We'll see if we can find any of it.
Well, like something older?
Yes, something which would have been original back when this was a factory. This building used to be a factory. Yes, it was a Hornsey
Lovely.
pottery. This is the bit. This is the wiring I was on about that's clipped in plastic.
Yeah, it looks a bit poor, doesn't it?
Mm.
Really, they couldn't even straighten that bit up.
Yeah.
Imagine if this place had been taken over by Tisco, it'd be completely trashed.
Tesco wouldn't take over a place like this.
Even as
There's
well
one of the there's one of the old bells that are not used anymore.
Are there any old call points left as well? Or just the oh, so there is. Okay. See, they've used the two-way back books for that one.
There was actually a stall here that's selling a traffic light. Last time I was in here,
How old is it?
it was a Melotype. I can't remember what brand it was. It did say.
Okay.
There's
She was just a basic traffic light.
it was cool, you know.
I always consider places like these to have all the good stuff.
Yeah, like so
this not as easy to deal with. Hence Antique Store in Ely banned me for filtering the whole system. That's yet another independent place that doesn't relate to retail. And it's in Cambridgeshire and not London. For that to happen in a place in Ely, you probably wouldn't expect it at all, would you?
I don't know, to be honest. You know this stuff better than me. I won't.
I don't think there's some things you know a lot better than me, to be honest.
Thank you. Well, I know more about voice alarm stuff than you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know probably very little.
Yeah.
As much as it interests me, I still don't know too much about it.
Yeah. That's disconnected, that, isn't it?
You sure that isn't a hole in the wall?
Maybe not. I was just looking at this as well.
Hey, what's that?
Is that more cable? Oh, we've got level crossing creations. I've gone off fire alarms recently, so trying to get back into things. Fair enough.
What kind of things? So you're switching back to Tradesway? So now I have.
You become one of us, Matt.
Well, you're already one of. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Railways is my main thing.
Well, all this time I was kind of an anonymous train spotter. But I think I need to open up a bit about it. I recently expanded up north. I started at Elford Loop, so a cross-country HS2.
Nice. They're going very soon.
And that's why I went there to go and see them.
Yeah.
Elford Loop is just the best line-side viewpoint you get in that area.
Yeah.
It's just perfect. So much went through in so little time. It isn't just Voyagers and Turbo Stars.
No. You'd like Leyland as well. Leyland Station's really busy. We have a lot of stuff coming through because it's right on the West Coast Main Line.
Where is Leyland?
It's just below Preston, just south of Preston.
Okay, yeah. I'm not familiar with that part of the West Coast Main Line. So I know a bell.
Yes.
I think the furthest up north on the West Coast Main Line I've been is probably somewhere that's just south of Manchester Piccadilly.
Now, this section was actually a play centre before the Antiques Centre bought it.
Just that section by itself.
Yeah, so you can see that the ceiling's been painted, and the play centre appear to install their own system.
Oh well, SMS detectors.
Yeah,
that might be ionisation.
Yeah, but I believe they're disused because they were part of
Well, hang on,
this how it
they're
used
still
to
standard conventional. They could have connected them to the CTEC.
possibly, but I don't know. All I do know is that this is part of a set.
Oh yeah, on this note, on this latest comment, I find the E2S standards on level crossings may be bog standards, like finding an addressable system in a Tesco. Like, for example, I'm disappointed that Water Beach level crossing got E2S standards put in. You know, they're just 32 tone standards.
Yeah,
You
but I
can't
think the
really play
voice is beneficial. But the thing is, MoFlash only make the YO freeze for Network Rail now. That's the only
MoFlash.
reason. Yeah,
Where'd you get
MoFlash
that
are the
from?
ones. My mate Adam, he follows. I think Adam and yes, a lot of people have that opinion with E2S. Yeah, Adam and Will Scriven. Yeah, they're owned by MoFlash now, Clifton Snell. So
yeah.
so all the new Yodel arms are branded as MoFlash.
I don't think I've noticed that on the newer Yodel's YA series, but
Yeah,
I'll
but yeah,
keep that in mind.
they make the YO. They still make the YO free. They don't make any of the other YO series anymore. Just the YO free. It's
I thought they still
purely
made I thought they still made the YO5 as well.
no, they don't. Just the YO free because it's specific for Network Rail because some of their level crossings only work on YO frees because of night mode. So at night time, the crossing will automatically reduce the power to the sounders, and because they're analog, it reduces the volume. If you tried that on a 32 tone sounder, it just wouldn't work. It would just mute it.
Wait, are you saying that Clifton Cell still made the YO3 in a non-32 tone version?
Yeah.
Really? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. But it's branded as MoFlash. They brand them as MoFlash now, but yeah. But it's because of it's for Network Rail, just for backward compatibility with older level crossings. I think it is the RF2. Yeah, I think it is the RF2. They still make them because they're with some level crossings you can only use them with it. Just because it reduces power to the sounders and then they reduce the volume. That's how the non-32 tone sounders work. But the 32 tone ones don't.
How the brand new Yodel at Westerfield level crossing didn't sound the same as the 32 tone version, even though they looked like they were brand new. They were in such
so he has two level cross. Chris has two MoFlash RF2s, which are the ones that they make now. Yeah, you can tell this.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah, you can tell this used to be a separate bit because there obviously used to be toilets here.
Why did they get rid of them? No.
I don't know. It makes it even worse that this building has no toilets in it.
I thought only London had that problem.
The toilets are outside. You have to go outside to go to the toilet.
In a separate building?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Well, it's not fine if it's raining.
But I thought you just said in a separate building, not entirely outside.
Yeah, but you have to go outside to get to the separate building.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
So I don't mind the rain.
I do.
You do. Wait till you drive, you'll be roasting in your car, especially when you're travelling at long distances.
Yeah, you drive, don't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that might increase the chances of people tracking me down. Like Homebase, for instance. I never gave them my address, but they could track down my details through my car because they saw that.
Do you reckon there used to be a bell here? I'm just looking at the paint.
Bigger backplate, probably, yeah. And there was probably Pyrocon going in through the top as well.
But yeah, this is an interesting building. I like it.
I think maybe one of these days I could have a look at this one.
You have to pay to get in, but it's only like a couple of pounds.
Just to get into the building.
Hmm. No one has access to DVLA yet. I think what Matt's saying is they saw him get into the car,
Well,
so they could log the
no,
register.
hang on. It wasn't like that. They, you see, every retail park has a camera outside the car park, so they probably track down every vehicle that comes into it. But
Yeah.
when I think about it, how do they know that was my? Oh wait, because they asked me
On
that
CC
and they
on
tracked
CC
down
on
They,
CCTV, would they see you getting in the car?
I don't think the
I wouldn't
CCTV is
worry.
exactly where I parked, because actually I parked in the B&M car park next to it. And
Okay.
there was also a Curry's PC where I was opposite that.
Okay. I wouldn't worry about it, in all honesty.
Well, I just said it was over. I mean,
Yeah.
that short that I made also says it all.
Yeah.
You could say that it really is the same reaction, except I didn't yell like a woman.
Yeah.
But I think whatever I said in the end was very similar. You know, it really isn't working at all. All I ever see in home base is Notifier or conventional advanced or haze panels.
I think that fire action sign was left over back from when it was a factory.
Oh, cool.
So, but it's a shame you can't see what it's meant to say. I hate it when they mount panels high up like that.
I guess it's inconvenient as well. And,
Yeah, I mean, like, oh yeah, I need to reset the fire alarm. I need to get the ladders out to get up to the panel whilst I'm being deafened, you know.
How do you still function properly when you get up there and silence it, unlike a stupid echo?
Yeah, I guess.
So, they've made it no different, but still better than having an echo in this place.
Yeah, it's that play centre near me that uses echo. But I think I spoke to the manager about it, and he said he's going to look into it because he wasn't aware that the detectors had even expired.
Yeah, that's another typical thing. They don't last very long at all. They are completely planned obsolescence.
That's the Tannoy mic.
This place is oh yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. The speakers, there aren't any speakers down here. Speakers are... There's one of them.
What are they used for anyway? General announcements?
Yes, the general announcements, and they did used to play music, but they've turned the music off.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
It makes a really loud chime when they do announcements as well. It's so loud.
What, like in B&M?
Worse than B&M.
What's worse than B&M?
Bing, 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 bing. That's literally.
I'm not sure that's really that much worse than B&M. Maybe that's enough reason to avoid it unless it's salvaged something, which is highly unlikely.
The thing that annoys me with B&M is the speaker layout is stupid. They only use speakers mounted onto the walls, even though they could quite easily mount them in the ceiling. Which means you have to have them on really loud in order to hear them.
On the walls?
Yeah, in B&M, yeah. Like they'll only have them on the walls, even though they could have them in the ceiling.
Yeah, I'd rather be banned from every single B&M store. I wouldn't be bothered by that at all.
It bothers me because they have to have them on dead loud. There's one in Preston which is terrible. They used to have big pendant speakers, that are like big ball that hang down from the ceiling. They would have three speakers in each of them. But when that was back when it was a home base. But when B&M took
over, was it salvaged any of the home base, or was it trashed it again?
Oh, they completely trashed it. Completely.
Everyone says Benno does vandalism, but not as much as anyone who trashes a home base like B&M.
Well, the one difference is Homebase own it and Benno doesn't. So,
well, hang on a minute. Homebase wouldn't have owned it anymore by the time it was taken over by B&M.
yeah, but they will have bought it, had the bill. Well, obviously started the rent, and then they will have took everything down, which then belonged to them. Anyway,
I don't think Homebase would take anything back.
let's see what the,
It's the worst part. Homebase can't even salvage their own farm systems anymore. So, yeah, what is the point in continuing with Homebase?
yeah, so there's this massive store, and they only have speakers, at least small speakers, on the perimeter walls. So they have to be on really loud in order for you to be able to hear it, which means
What has this place got now? XP95 or KSC?
yeah, XP95. It's on an advanced. So yeah, they have to have the speakers on really loud, which means if you're right under one, you get deafened by it. And if you're in the middle of the store, then it's really echoey and you can't understand what it's saying.
Well, the figure of that is you'd be able to understand it.
Yeah, but it never used to have these little speakers because they're not designed to throw the sound out. They're music speakers, so they're only designed to be focused on a small area. So let's see if I go to.
How long was it a B&M before it was a home base?
Oh,
When was it? Ruined?
I think it was ruined around 2020 or 2021. I think it would have been 2021 actually.
If it was that case, that home base would have either had a dress call or a notifier panel by that point.
Oh no, sorry. The home base was it was addressable. I think it was an XP95, but it ran off bells.
Wait, it's only an XP95 home base ran bells?
This was back when it was a home base. Yeah, well, it has
Wait,
bells.
where'd you get those pictures from? It would be impossible to, look at a permanently closed home base that's been trashed by B&M.
Look, home base Preston Rivers Way permanently closed. Sometimes Google Maps saves old places.
But this one still had addressable, didn't it?
I think it did.
Is that? What's that?
So these are the old speakers, and these covered the store really well.
So what? Now you're saying that B&M even trashes addressable home bases too?
Yeah.
And yet they replace it with the same type of system. Why can't they just keep the home base system like the Range do?
I don't know. They should have kept the PA system as well, and then hooked their A-phone system up to it. So.
Well, that would have worked better, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Because look, these speakers are massive, and they're also quite hard. They are also quite rare now. These big, massive Pell speakers.
I just feel like I've seen those ones before somewhere.
B&Q use them a lot. Older B&Qs.
I've seen a lot of them in B&Q.
Yeah, older B&Qs use them a lot.
Just haven't really been trying with B&Q because they're, if anything, worse than home base on average.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't any left with Menvio equipment. They either have Apollo or Zyton. There's only two of conventional, and they're both modern conventional.
This person here just took a picture of the speaker.
Was it you?
No, it wasn't.
We would have done if no one else had done it, right?
I think I did actually take a picture of one, but I didn't upload it. But someone else has obviously.
Same idea, huh?
Yes.
It wasn't me either.
Yeah. There are people
Where
like
is
us
this
out there.
anyway?
Preston. Well, it was.
Are there really more people like us out there? That's not what everyone else thinks.
There's a lot of people in this world. There has to be. That person obviously took a picture of the speaker, found it interesting.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anyone who travel from like Northamptonshire to Birmingham, and then Birmingham to Derby, and Derby to Nottinghamshire
Yeah, that might be a bit much,
in
but I think it's
one
just.
day, just
But if,
targeting home bases and Morrison's and Wicks and
yeah,
Sainsbury's.
yeah, probably not. But I'm sure there's a lot of people who will see something whilst they're around and think, "Oh, that looks interesting," and will take a picture of it, but they wouldn't travel to specifically take a picture of it. But yeah, this is the
Yeah, I
same.
think
This is the same building now. It's a B&M.
I mean, as far as I know, most B&Ms I know are trash home based. Have done it a lot earlier than this. Like the one in Leytonstone was trashed as early as 2015.
Wow.
So I was never able to picture the home base one.
Do you ever remember back when B&M took over that company Au Natural? Do you ever remember that?
No, what?
There used to be a company called Au Natural, and it was spelt. Hang on, I'm going to have to change the tabs again. Let me see.
I don't know if I've heard of that company at all.
Let's turn the. Yeah, there used to be a company called Au Natural.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, and this company, they went bankrupt in like 2007, 2008, sometime around then, and B&M took over most of their stores.
Well, I
But
do hear about
they kept them original. They didn't because I think because the company went bust, it was in order to keep the staff, they
if B&M was around that early, then what did they use back then?
The one in Leyland, which used to be Au Natural, was conventional. I think it was JSB. So it had Banshees, and I think it had the older JSB detectors.
What, the system sensor design?
No, maybe it is.
Well, I mean, JSB did their own system sensor based sensors. You're not going to find it on the web. Trust me, you won't. This is why filing photos exist, remember?
Oh,
I think I'm going to find a picture of one on my photos before you do.
I bet you will.
Let me just tell this to everyone that hates me, right? Tell them why filing photos exist, why I'm doing it, why I'm increasing suspicion to the staff.
This is your website, didn't you say?
I haven't done it yet. Well,
you're not. I remember you saying you were planning.
It's being finished, but I haven't uploaded it yet.
No, you're wrong.
I mean, I've reached 2022 on the website. I'm getting somewhere, but I haven't finished yet. I mean, I recently saw one of those JSB sectors that you were talking about in Birmingham. That's it. So, was it this site then? Where'd you find that? Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is your This is your other one, isn't it?
So this JSB sector here, is that what you were looking for?
Yes, that's it. That's the one.
I mean, there aren't any pictures of those on the web, are there? Well, not yet, anyway.
I don't know.
Well, there you see, that's the purpose of filing photos. Even Drew was saying how, I could really make a difference on the web.
Yeah. I'm probably going to...
It's the difference we need once and for all.
Yeah, I get it. I'm probably going to stay on for 5 more minutes, if that's all right.
I think maybe I'll try and get finished with the, latest incident at home base.
Yeah.
I mean, this is aimed at home base in Nottingham. Well, I mean, the only one left in Nottingham. I don't know if there were any others. If there were, they probably would have been trashed by either B&M or Home Bargains. I mean, this is the only one left. Still didn't have what I was looking for. Still had a notifier panel. But then again, still had some old conventional devices left. Just going around the edges as usual. and the garden centre, I always do that bit. I think it was when I was, more than a quarter way around, no, 3/4 of the way around the building, getting close to the end. I think that's when. Well, I tell you what, I think at the halfway point, I may have seen one member of staff, maybe assuming that he may have been aiming for me, but wasn't sure. Didn't become clear. It might not have been down to that at all. Besides, my encounter was a different member of staff after that one, even though the next one was involved. So yeah, I think. Well, yeah, you know how Homebase has a bath store? I think the siege started in the bath store section. Kind of not exactly at the edge, but not exactly in the middle either.
I know what you mean.
I think as for kind of getting into the middle, I was partly approached by staff. Again, this particular one wasn't documented like Ilford. Sometimes I don't always feel the need to do so. I don't expect it to, escalate as usual, because it always starts so soft. Although Ilford didn't start soft at all. That one started really, really rough. Unlike this one, which slowly progressed. But, I recorded Ilford because it was already getting to a high level. Although, why has this one got 1% higher than Ilford? It's down to the threats at the end. Although,
what did they threaten you with?
Banning me from literally every home base after.
But they don't have the power to do that. That's down to head office to make that call.
Well, they could have
done. The individual.
Besides, I mean, on that note, the one who called me was the manager.
The store manager?
Yeah, the store manager.
But he doesn't manage the company, does he? He doesn't manage the company as a whole. It's not his decision to make, surely.
Well, I don't know, really. Could be.
I'd be very surprised if that was the case. But did it just escalate into that?
Well, I think the flaw that I made was picturing one of the devices in front of a camera. I mean, I should have just followed that method I did in Catford Homebase, where I avoided picturing something because there was a camera right next to it. Nothing happened in any other Homebase. I mean, the only other Homebase that has had something happen to it is Waltham Cross in North London. Probably 10 Homebases previous to this. Just before Oxford. I mean, I think this is the moment I'm not giving Homebase a third chance, to be honest. Well, I mean, you could say I did give it a third chance with visiting the 2 Homebases of Derbyshire after this, but neither of those impressed me either. So I'd say it really was kind of time to quit in Homebase. I mean, I don't know what we call it. For it's an Asda, and I'm thinking of doing the same with Tesco.
I don't think Asda's that interesting. It's just ProTech.
Exactly. That's why I called it quits on Asda entirely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've given up. There's nothing left in Asda.
Like
they only have 6,000 or 6,000 plus.
Yeah, that my local big Asda used to have a 5,000, and I remember it, but it got replaced a couple of years ago.
Exactly, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Although there is.
I mean, it wasn't. Sorry, you continue.
There is one Asda that I probably should still target. I'm not sure if it's 6,000 or anything before that, but it does have bells. It's one in Southampton.
Oh, that's really interesting. That's not normal.
But I'm not sure if it's going to still be there, but maybe some point I might try that as.
Yeah, like I was saying, the 5,000. It wasn't a very interesting 5,000 system by my standards, because
but if I had seen one of those in Asda at this point, I would have been very interested in it.
Oh yeah, I'm
I
sure
mean,
you would have been.
even if I saw one as early as 2016 in an Asda, I'd have been very interested in it.
CGT is
It's a short version of Quartz.
Yes.
And he's mentioning Northamptonshire
Quartz
as if he meant the Sainsbury's in Wellingborough, which was the previous CGT to this. Even though it wasn't anywhere near as serious. Although it was done in a similar method, the manager again.
I think.
Well, I mean,
I can understand why shops would question you because they have a duty to look after their staff, and if there's, there could be someone who could be taking pictures for malicious reasons. I mean, it's unlikely, but it's unfortunately not unheard of. But I think there needs to be some form of understanding with people like
I think with my words kind of overtaking theirs, I think they were kind of lazy in trying to, put the highest level on to overtake my words. Even though I was literally giving it all I've got this time. I mean, the problem is I hadn't given it all I've got in Ilford, and I hadn't even given it all I got in the next one after that. The worst CGT by far.
Yeah.
Which was probably like, 5% higher than this one.
Yeah.
A 100% CGC would be life-threatening. I'd get arrested. I'd get sent to prison.
You can't. They can't send you to prison for that.
Well, they can try, and I know they will.
I don't think it will get that far, but
you know how it is. I've already been banned from an antique shop in Ely, and getting illegally detained in Exchange Ilford, and being verbally and potentially physically abused in the next one after that by British people.
I think there just needs to be more of an understanding, in all honesty. I think it's...
I already tried that. I can't do it anymore. I tried that with this home base, and I even tried it with the highest level by far. It doesn't work. I tried expressing rights. I know I didn't do that in Ilford or Ely, but I did do it in every CGT since.
Yeah.
Oh, and including Sainsbury's in Wellingborough in Northamptonshire.
Yeah.
And I think... Actually, I don't think I did it in the John Lewis in Cambridge. I mean, I was going to do a live stream covering that one as well. Because I think that was the only one where I was actually trespassing for real that time. Even though that one was not really a high-level one at all. There was less consequences for that one. So that's kind of somewhat weirder. But that was the only one where I was actually trespassing for real. And when every other one always accuses me of trespassing, it's always in a public place. You saw the video. Ilford was accusing me of trespassing, and I would say this home base kind of was as well.
Yeah, it's probably because they say they have the right to refuse people, which they do, but I think there just needs to be some form of understanding to what people like you are like, and that you have, you have no...
Besides, I figured people up north would be more understanding of my kind, because this is the first CGTs to occur up north, by far. Normally they're always down south, like furthest north is Cambridgeshire, or actually no, Northamptonshire now.
Us northerners tend to be more friendly.
Yeah, I should know. Although I keep getting told by southerners that northerners hate southerners, but maybe I do as well. I mean, it is every experience I have up north, northerners really are nicer.
Yeah.
So whatever propaganda I've been hearing from my parents is just entirely wrong.
Yes, it's southerners. I find that Cornwall is the worst. The southeast is...
It kind of does make sense.
It's Cornwall. Some nasty people.
I haven't done Cornwall yet, but maybe I should know. Southeast, I don't think any CGT has occurred in Kent or Sussex at the moment.
Oh, hang on. Did I say?
In Brighton. But
Did I
that's it.
say?
Nothing else.
Did I say southeast? I
Yeah,
meant
you did say
southwest.
southeast.
Yeah, sorry, I meant southwest. I'm sorry.
Oxford is southwest, and well, the only place I know is Hobart, and pictured very little because that one was an absolute letdown.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
that
more
was the one I gave
southwest.
Hobart a second chance after Oxford, and
Yeah,
now it really is the final straw.
yeah, it's southwest which tends to be worse.
Does that go for Wales too?
Sorry.
Does that go for Wales too?
No,
I
no.
mean,
I think Devon, Cornwall, and maybe Somerset, the far southwest.
right.
That's what I mean.
Does that go for Bristol as well? Because I think I've already been around Somerset.
Possibly, but I
I mean,
think
I have pictured a few things around Somerset. That's
yeah,
kind of as far as I've gone to the
but
southwest. Nothing
it's
bad has occurred in that area.
but it's Devon and Cornwall are the one who people don't tend to be very nice.
I mean, do you have any knowledge of people in London as well? Although, although I've kind of realised that actually the east of England is probably worse than London itself. London isn't actually the dodgiest place that everyone thinks it is.
No, it's not.
I mean,
There's places. London's just busy, and busy can be intimidating for some people, such as myself.
I mean, sure. I mean, we do get a lot of CGTs in London. Like there are loads, but the highest level is Ilford. Second highest to that is Robert Dyce and Holborn in central London. And well, in terms of high level category, that's it. Most of the others are really low level, and they were some understanding. Like in the Boots in Hammersmith, there was a little bit of understanding. After that, they were a little bit aware. And as for the Superdrug in Ilford, there was quite a bit of understanding, although except for the accusation of trespass once again, but they were aware of my kind. So that's why I was classed as relatively low level. It's quite a difference compared to the Superdrug in Stowmarket in Suffolk, where that one was much more severe.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I would probably, if I was a member of staff, and I would probably approach it and just ask what you do.
Home-based don't use Roshnis. They use either bells or symphony sounders. But yeah, you could say that I pictured that many devices in every home base altogether. Maybe I'll have to count them.
What I was saying is, if I was in a member of staff's position, I would probably ask you, what are you doing? And if you said, oh, I'm just taking fire alarm pictures, I'd probably say, can I see some of them? I would probably say, can I see some of them, just to confirm that that's actually what you were doing?
They had seen all of them. Although, on that note, the previous home bases have as well. Like the one in Sheffield.
Did they say, can I see the pictures you've taken?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I would do. I'm like, okay, that's fine by me. I'd say that's fine by me. Just don't. Yeah, if I saw that, I would just say that's fine by me. Just don't take pictures of people.
Well, I don't take pictures of people. In fact,
I know you don't.
I do accidentally take pictures of people in photos. Normally, I'd crop them out or something.
Yeah, and I'm just saying this as a hypothetical.
I think I'm starting to get over it now. Although that was kind of a specific rule in the early stages of foreign photos.
I'm just saying that's a hypothetical.
I don't know what that means.
Scenario. How do I say it? I'm just saying, if I was a member of staff and I caught you taking pictures, that's what I would do.
Also, I mentioned how I was not intending to picture the foreign panel as well because it was a notifier. Because I pictured the same type in every other home base.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But yeah, I think this one lasted nearly as long as Ilford, probably at least 10 minutes. And I think Ilford lasted 30 minutes, if I remember correctly.
Good Lord,
the other abusive one lasted, 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure I was asked to leave at the first minute. I mean, I think I would have rather just been asked to leave instead of being threatened to be banned, and then asked to leave.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe we've just with no details given and with just making a final decision, we're just right. I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm not doing any more home bases.
Right. I am going to head off now. If that's all right by you.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was nice having
We've
you on
been
the
on,
stream.
yeah, it's been on for nearly an hour now. We've had a good
Has it?
chat. And it's been, yeah.
An hour. It felt like 20 minutes.
I know, it goes so quick, doesn't it? Well, it's been good to be on, and thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
And if I go live again at some point, you're very welcome to join them.
Thank you. Right.
So
See you again.
yeah, see ya.
See ya. Bye.
Bye. I think I'm just gonna keep streaming for a few more minutes just to get the rest of this hopeless off my chest. Oh yeah, I think someone may have noted the thumbnail. You know, it's recreated from an old slogan from 2006, and the true honesty of what homos are really like now, or at least, well, one of 2 out of 50 others I've been to. Well, yeah, I mean, at this point, I have been to 50 home races, even though the one that we're talking about is actually number 48. But I think in the 2 home races after that, I was just careful as fuck with those ones, only limiting myself to the things I hadn't pitched before and the external repeaters. I mean, I pictured 1 or 2 things in the following home races. Although on that note, I did the same in the 2 Sainsbury's after that as well. You know, just in case. Because after all, we had a CGT in the previous Sainsbury's to that as well. Yeah, well, sometimes I get bored on Jordan's live streams as well, so maybe that's why I leave those. Now we're even then. Besides, I don't care if what I'm talking is absolute shit. Maybe see what Homebase have to say about it. But yeah, my point is, probably 10 minutes into it, I think I was asked for details, like my address. I think I only gave the rough county, even though that was before I was aware of what they were actually going to do. Well, but then I think they asked me for my address so that they could ban me from every other home base. I just didn't really do anything at all. Although I'm pretty sure they would have accepted it because they still had my car details. They could have tracked my name and address down from the number plate. I'm not sure anyone's ever done that before, but they could try. I mean, I could have saved this live stream for the deadline expired to get a letter from Homebase. I mean, if they sent one, that is. I'm not sure if I have or not. But then again, I'm not sure it really matters anymore. There aren't really many home bases left. I think it's really down to the last abandoned ones that are Urbex required. And if they even know they're going to have notifier in them. I mean, what's weird, like in the early stages, to picture main Farnham panels, I was using Homebase back out from Sainsbury's because they use the same Farnham systems. But in reality, like Sainsbury's have actually impressed me more than most Homebase stores, especially most of the recent ones as well. I mean, the oldest bells I've seen Homebase would be just the unbranded Fulham ones, and no more. I mean, in Sainsbury's, I've seen that and a lot more. I've even seen the same type of rebranded vintage Clarkson bell that was seen in the Trafalgar Centre that I didn't picture because I had to use my phone torch because banners had run out. as usual. You know, that was a stupid decision not to pitch that particular ball in the Trafalgar Centre, but I got a second chance with the Sainsbury's in Beckenham. Huh? That wasn't what I was aiming for, though. I mean, when you asked that to, well, not only home base, but everywhere else too, like literally everywhere. I mean, now I'm thinking maybe I haven't seen everything. Maybe there can be higher level CGTs than this one. Maybe if I went further southwest, although if I've already done that, nothing happened. And I guess it's just because I went to rejected Tesco's again. If anyone's willing to help me with that, then yes, of course. Although I doubt anyone will. Well, and another thing, my local home base, which was the only one I ever pictured, you know, the oldest Folding Hill Inn, that one's gone as well. So, you know, that kind of really shows it. I just put it down to the fact that I managed to find a Vega in a different home base, and they are meant to be even rarer than the conventional panels, because they are rightfully under the threat of extinction because they're extremely hard to work with. You know, any firearm engineer will say that about the Kitty Vega. I mean, that's why they are under the threat of extinction, but yet one home base still had one left. Although that probably is really the only one. And at this point, as we speak, it's probably being replaced with an MX Pro 5 as we speak. You know, I really think the notifier panels were put in when Homebase was part of the Focus DIY group, because, you know, Focus used notifier themselves, so that probably makes sense. Besides, every Homebase that still had something left after this have got Advanced Conventional instead. You know, I mean, Homebase went temporarily bust, and then, well, most of the others have been, you know, brought back by what owns Homebase now, and every last one of them being targeted. So I think it really is too late for the rest of them. You know, at least everyone that hasn't yet got a notifier is now being done with Advanced Conventional. You know, take Oxford Homebase for example. That was supposed to still have the original panel left, but it didn't. But it never got a notifier, so they put an Advanced Conventional in when they brought it back. On that note, I'll say that Penge Homebase is the one that has the most notifier in it. Well, I guess half notifier, half conventional. Normally it'd be just a panel running its own monitor, but this has notifier addressable devices as well. Yeah, I think Brentford has a little bit of, you know, a little bit of notified addressable devices as well. Oh, and most ones that do have like more addressable than the average home base, they even replace the external repeater with a notifier passive repeater. When most other addressable home bases would have replaced the Vega with an advance on both sides. Well, you know what, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I think one thing I can be clear on, or I mean, I can't yet prove that I've been banned from every home base. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a letter from them or not. I mean, I never gave them my address, so that's what makes it unlikely. But what makes it likely is they could have tracked down my address through my car number plate that they picked up from the outside. And while they were doing that, they even somehow found out the distance I travelled as well. I'm not sure how they did that, but it was quite accurate. Even though it also covered probably all the distance I've travelled all of this year, not just in one day. Because they mentioned something about Manchester, and I've been to Manchester in months. Oh yeah, on that banned note, I probably asked, what about when I'm a foreign shit? What are you going to do if I'm banned from every home base when you call me out? I know I didn't say the same thing at Ely, but well, I mean, I should have done. Well, sometimes I do use that as a CGT defense. So, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This time it kind of didn't. Because they were like, is this really how to behave? On that note, even the Texas home cares are getting the same treatments. I mean, they would have had more modern treatment in the early 2000s, but they too are getting advanced conventional or notifier. So yeah, clearly I failed the home-based mission in order to find a main panel version of the old repeater powers I keep seeing in Sainsbury's. Well, I think now it's probably going to be all down to being a foreign engineer after this, if I can do it again. Because the sooner I become a foreign engineer, the sooner this will stop happening. There'll be no more brutal attacks and no compromisation of autism rights. I'll be authorised to picture every foreign system, and I'll be let into whatever calls me out, which could be anywhere. We're talking anywhere. I mean, if I did work for BBC Fire Protection, I could do every home base, but I think it'd be more worth doing Clarkson Safety Services, which do Sainsbury's, because then you'll be let to the main panel in every Sainsbury's as well. No, I can't. No one can prevent them, but they can try and save them instead. Although think that's also quite difficult as well, but maybe not as difficult as preventing them from being replaced. I'll tell you what we could do though is maybe encourage the following manufacturers to make better equipment, because a lot of new equipment isn't that good, especially addressable stuff. Mate, no one can repair parts, but if anywhere's bad for that, it's Essex. I mean, I think potholes in Halston in Essex nearly damaged my car completely. And I had a van right up against me as well. Well, hang on a minute. Northamptonshire can't repair potholes, but they will replace an existing home with Notifier again. I mean, why don't they just... Oh yeah, that goes for Essex too. I mean, even the best home base, which is classed as Rayleigh in Essex, still has a Notifier. And that's although the Sainsbury's on the other hand isn't as good somehow. I mean, for once there's a home base that made up for a Sainsbury's this time. But I can't say Essex is the dodgiest place I've ever been to. It's probably one of the least dodgiest places in the east of England to be in. You know, most of the CGTs I get in Essex are like very low level ones. Even though I got 2 in one day in Braintree in Essex. But again, they weren't that high either. You know, they were way lower levels than, you know, same types of supermarkets and other places. Okay, why did I invent the term CGT after the brutal attack? I think I was just frustrated and entirely hurt. So I just decided to, you know, shorten the word courts and class every one of them that's happened previous to that. You could say that it's like, you know, LDN is short for London. It's, you know, done in that method. And you know, it sounds better as well. Well, I said I would end the stream a few minutes ago. I think I'm going to end it for real this time. So, I know I haven't been live in ages, but I think I might start doing it again at some point. So, well, that's it. See ya.